Hey everybody, my name is your host, Calvin Logan with the Logan Power Show, nationwide, worldwide. Well, man, it's a blessing, it's an honor for you listening to me right now. The Logan Power Show, we are nationwide, worldwide. We are here to impact the community, make a difference for all those that are watching us. Always look us up at www.theloganpowershow.us. We're here to come into your household to make a difference in your lives. We're here to educate, we're here to uplift, we're here to make a difference in this entire community. This nation will know that to God be the glory. Jesus is the way, Jesus is the reason for the season. Today is the day to donate to us. www.theloganpowershow.us. I'm telling you right now, you sow a seed here, Bible promise return on your giving. We're here to make a difference. We appreciate all that you do. Going on YouTube, checking out the Logan Power Show. Hey, like us on Facebook at the Logan Power Show. We got our own supporterships page at the Logan Power Show supporters page. Call us today at 843-697-5545. Finally, again, email us at the loganpowershow@gmail.com. Well, I tell you right now, we're going to trust and we're going to lean on God. This show's going to make a difference. We're going to make it happen, family, and we do it together. We're going to make an impact in this nation and across the world. This is me, your host, Calvin Logan, nationwide, worldwide, the Logan Power Show. We love y'all. Hey everybody, welcome to the Logan Power Show. It's me, your host, Calvin Logan, live at Impacting Your Life World Ministries here in Goose Creek, South Carolina. Well, we got with us a returning guest. She's going to tell us more about how to get these nonprofit organizations started. She's an expert. She's one of the best. Miss Evita Haynes, how you doing, ma'am?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Great. Glad to have you here on the show.
Good to be here.
Amen. Amen. So, as further ado, we know some things you have. You have the insight. You have the whereabouts. Tell us a couple things that we need to know on how to get ourselves started when it comes to getting a nonprofit organization off the ground.
One of the main things of getting a nonprofit started is organization. That's basically having, especially a church, you have to have your those that give you offerings and donations organized. You can't just throw it the envelopes in a box. You have to go ahead and put these on spreadsheets, get them organized, and here's why. When you have donors that want to donate to you, they want to see organization. And as you get a growing congregation, you want to do that so that you'll be accountable towards the banks. This is one of the things that banks want to see when you get ready to go ahead and approach them. It's just one of the things. It's not the main thing, but it's one of the things that they want to see as organization, that you have your stuff organized and presentable to them. You can't just present the envelopes to them. They want them in spreadsheets or at least typed up on a sheet of sheet of paper, so that they can interpret the information, so they'll see whether or not you're creditworthy.
Okay. Amen. Amen. So that's one thing. Now, what are some other pitfalls that we need to know so that it would help us to get this, become a nonprofit, a 501(c)(3). What are some things we got to get done?
One of the other things that you have to get done is, besides organization, is to get incorporated. That's a main thing people don't realize. They want to get grants. They want to go ahead and go to a larger capacity because they want to get into education. They want to get into health and do healthcare clinics and stuff like that. And yeah, they may have the money and everything to do all of that, but in order to get accountability and credibility with the state of South Carolina or any other state for that matter, they want to see you incorporated and sometimes insured, so that when, if anything were to come up, the members of that organization won't be nobody would come after the members themselves if something unfortunate were to happen.
Amen. Amen. So that's some great things to know, what needs to be going on. Now, tell people, because your program, how you design, if someone needs to be a 501(c) and they gave you you can help them fill out the application.
Yes.
What's the turnaround time?
The typical turnaround time for me has been about 2 months. If you called IRS themselves, they'll tell you anywhere between 9 months and 18 months, simply because of how long it does take to go through the application. But my typical turnaround time for a client is about 2 months. And that's from incorporation to getting all of your paperwork done. I haven't had any cases to where it takes that long. We try to get past that 2 month part and get that main paperwork done, so that we can get on to other things, like get you ready to get grants, get you ready to go into other arenas, like affordable housing. There's shortages in affordable housing that nonprofits can get into, healthcare, education. There's a bunch of opportunities for nonprofits to get into.
Amen. Now you just heard her right now. It takes roughly 9 months to 18 to get it done, but she's a specialist. She can get it done for you in 2 months. That's why I got her here in the Logan Power Show. I'm letting you know, some of the people that you be saying like, oh man, they look the part. She knows it inside and out. So pretty much all that time you're saying, well, man, it's going to take me forever to become a nonprofit organization. She can get it done in 2 months. That's 60 days, pretty much, getting all your paperwork, all your ducks in a row, and she's one of the best at it. So the reason why I bring these kind of people into the fold is because I don't know about anybody else, but a nonprofit organization is kind of hard. It's not as easy. People can sound like, oh, it's just Calvin's get online, hit a couple clicks, you good to go. You good to go. It's done. It doesn't
not.
work. It doesn't work that way.
It's not.
So they tell you like,
I'm just giving you the simplified version. I have to, behind the scenes, I'm researching, trying to see what grants you qualify for, making a strategy, especially when you do the incorporation and your articles of incorporation. You have to put your strategies within that sheet of paper in order for you to be able to go after certain programs, certain grants. So it's not as easy as we're telling you from here. We're just giving you a simplified version of it. But yeah, it does take a lot of work, and it's something that you have to be committed to. So because you have to remain tax exempt. That's the key to this, because you can get your credibility taken away from you. Like if you start lobbying, if you start becoming involved, like having doing it for your own interests, like to get paid yourself. Yeah, you can get a reasonable fee as a nonprofit organization, but there's certain things you have to do in order for it to be legalized, and in order for the organizations that are going to help you to look at and see that you're very serious and committed about your cause, and you're not just in it just for yourself.
Amen. Amen. So, those who have a passion to be a nonprofit organization, you better have your ducks in a row. Otherwise, there's this thing called you broke the law, and there's this thing that's called you may get yourself in some serious trouble legally. So you want to have the right people in place. You know me, I'm no expert now. I am no expert. But if someone is an expert in that, I'm going to have my pen and pad, give you my information, take care of Calvin. I don't know about anybody else, but that's where she specializes in. So that's why I keep specialized people close to me. Just like I gave an example. My wife is one of the greatest organizers in the world. She can take something that's been thrown up to the hilltop as a mountain, organize it, put it together, make it look like it's brand new. That's what she specializes in. I organize things when it comes to business. I can organize business. I can see things, how to create it, how to get it started, how the strategy works. But that's just, we're on a team. My wife is one of the best organizers in the world. She knows how to put things together. She keeps me accountable all the time. So that's why for us, we make sure here at the Logan Power Show that we make sure that our customers, our viewing audience, that we bring people here that make sense. We don't want to have a show and I bring the right people that's going to help your life. I know there's a lot of people that got a dream. God has something in your heart. I want to be a nonprofit organization. God has I want to do something great. Well, this is the person you need to talk to. Don't call me. You call her. If you say, Cal, what's the number? That's the number. This the person has the access. So tell people, how can they get in contact with you?
You can contact me through Facebook at Evita Haynes. You can email me at evitahaynes@aol.com. ehaynes10, the number 10, at liberty.edu. Facebook. Twitter, you can contact me at Iggy, AIGGY 767. That's my Twitter handle.
Amen. Amen. Now, one final thought. What are like one of the biggest things that people do make mistakes on when they say they want to become a nonprofit organization?
As far as their vision, you need to write your vision before coming to me. I will help you with your vision, but I need a starting point. I need a point where you're telling me, okay, this is what God has within me to do. I want to go ahead and if you're a church, you want to have your ministries on that paper. You want to have what God is telling you to go. Like if He's telling you to go do missions in Africa, missions in South America, things like that. And then I'll add to it by telling you, okay, well, this is some other things you can do. But you need to have a starting point. Especially if you're a Christian organization, you need to be in prayer about that vision, and He'll definitely give it to you. You ask for it. First Chronicles 4, Jabez asked God. He said a simple prayer, and one of the things he asked in that prayer was capacity. That God enlarges capacity, and you have to enlarge your capacity in order to receive from God. He can't give you a blessing if you're not ready to receive it. You have to have the capacity in order to be enlarged. If you could be a small organization and just have a small building right now, but you can have many. You could go from there, and God can enlarge you to go all over the world. I can use T.D. Jakes for example. He has two subsidiaries rather. He has a nonprofit subsidiary that handles the missionary and ministry, but he also has a for-profit subsidiary that's attached to that. And I could get into all of that in another segment, but there's so much to it. But this is just the start of it to get your capacity enlarged and be able to receive most of the gifts that God has for you.
Amen. Amen. So we're going to bring her back again because we want to know more about that. How can we turn the nonprofit and bring the profit side to it? So I want you to follow her, connect with us here at the Logan Power Show. Hey, I'm excited. God got some great things happen for us. That's all the time I got. Me, Miss Calvin with the Logan Power Show, nationwide, worldwide. We appreciate you. We love you. We'll see you on next week.
My name is Channing Walker, and I have a heart for those struggling with mental illness, fighting cancer, and those in addiction. God has helped me triumph over these afflictions, and I know that He can do the same for you.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Logan Power Show. It's me, your host, Calvin Logan, live here at Impacting for Your Life World Ministries here in Goose Creek, South Carolina. Well, I got with me a lady who is on fire, and she's going to bring awarenesses that needs to be talked about. She's playing no type of game. She's breaking through barriers. She's being a voice for the church. She's the one and only Miss Michelle Rhett. How you doing, ma'am?
Hey, Calvin, good to see you. Good
Glad-
to see you.
Glad to
Thank you.
glad to have you here in the show.
Glad to be here. Glad
Yes,
to
ma'am.
finally be here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So tell us about yourself and who is Miss Michelle Rhett?
Well, I think first of all, I am a woman of God. I've been in ministry for probably over, I don't know how many years. I've been at the same church for 27 years, Greater Mount Calvary Holy Church in Washington, D.C. And I was the first president of the legal ministry there. So that's pretty much how everything got started. No one really knew I was an attorney. And then when they found out, they put me to work. And so I represented my church for 15 years. And I found out later that I was probably the youngest female to ever be a chief counsel of a mega church. So that's how everything really got started.
Okay. All right. Well, it's good to see that God is elevating you.
Yeah.
He's putting you in places you never thought you would be.
Mm-hmm.
So, biggest thing that I can tell us about yourself, tell us about your actual ministry, your business, and who you are.
Yeah. Well, my ministry is quite complex. I run the nation's first and only ecclesiastical law center. And what that is many people, when I was starting out representing churches, I would go to my attorney friends. I came from a major law firm, and no one knew how to represent churches. And that's basically what we're talking about. Ecclesiastical law deals with the protections that the Constitution gives the church. What the problem is that most times when churches are sued or pastors go to church or ecumenical organizations go to court, they are brought to court as a corporation.
Got it.
But a church is not a corporation. It's a quasi-corporation with ecclesiastical protections from the Constitution.
Got it.
So I thought it was just something common that everybody knew. But as I polled my legal colleagues, we found out none of us knew what we were talking about. And so I made it a habit to study ecclesiastical law. I was a church law professor for 10 years. I've been an educator for about 20. But I was a church law professor for 10 years, and I decided, and the Lord basically led me into this. So my pastor, Bishop Alfred Owens, asked me to chair the legal ministry and then to be the chief counsel. And in the middle of that, they put more and more on me. And a few years later, 2013, he asked me to speak before the Joint College of Pentecostal Bishops. Mm-hmm. And they didn't want a lawyer to speak before them, and they definitely had never had a woman lawyer. So I was given 30 minutes, and I had to say everything in 30 minutes, and I wrote a book called Church at Risk. I don't have it with me. Church at Risk, but these are a set of them. Church at Risk, Piercing the Sacred Veil. And what this was it was a book on sexual misconduct in the church. It sold out in 5 minutes. An audience of 700 bishops, and even Bishop T.D. Jakes was on the line listening. They had never heard anything like this before, and that's what everyone was saying. What is this? We know nothing about ecclesiastical law. And so that was the birth of it. Now we have 10 volumes. Church at Risk really is a legal compendium of every aspect of houses of worship, churches, and religious rights and protections. And so that's pretty much the start of something that I thought I could get out of, has now 4 years later morphed into a national phenomenon, and we train all over the United States.
Amen. Amen. So it's something that you have pretty much have been the catalyst for, and pretty much you're holding the rails to making us to be more aware of the difference between church and state. Right. Pretty much when she's talking about that two-part, she's mentioned about church and state. I know a lot of times what we do is we get caught up in not knowing what the law states. And a lot of times people say that you're a corporation. Well, not a church is considered to be a nonprofit. And say, well, Calvin, how could, you can't, the church is a corporation. Okay, well, let's go into the world. The NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, NHL, they are all nonprofit organizations. You can't sue the NFL. You can't sue the NBA. You can't sue Major League Baseball. You can't sue the NHL. They're all nonprofits. They get a tax break. So you look at an owner, he owns the building. He doesn't own the building. He's leasing the building. Pretty much all he's doing right now is pretty much giving you the, as you would say, you paying for the tickets. He's making money off the advertising. He's making money off of, as you would say, he or she was coming in. So the church is considered to be where people say, well, I'm going to sue the church. It's a nonprofit organization. How you going to sue someone that's They're not designed that way.
Well, that's what everybody assumes. I think when I was at a major law firm in D.C., a lot of people said, Michelle, what are you leaving us for? I was up for partner, and I said, I'm not going to take it. Wasn't up for partner. I was up for an associate level. And I said, I'm not going to take it because I feel I need to do my father's business.
Got it.
And many people said, why would people sue a church? In the last 10 years, the lawsuits against churches have increased by 45%.
Wow.
In the last 5 years, the number of cases against the church have gone up about 70%. 70% of all lawsuits against churches are brought by its members. So a lot of people don't even think that the problem with many churches is what's internal, how we do business as a church. Many churches still have the concept that they're a mom and pop organization and that they cannot be sued. And so when they're brought into a lawsuit, they are blindsided because they have no idea. Number one, they don't have consistent legal counsel. Churches call lawyers when they need help. So at that point, if you wait until after a lawsuit has started, it's too late. And so when I created the first ecclesiastical law division, the goal was to have an offensive position, put the church where it could actually defend itself because it knew something was coming. So we review churches, we do audits, what we call a laudit. We created the multidisciplinary review of a religious organization called a laudit, just like an accounting audit, you know what I'm going? A laudit, and we review these churches. We write tons of constitution and bylaws. It's amazing what mega churches don't have.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you ask them about counsel, a lot of times they will tell you they're not represented. Or we know who we can call, the members of our church. And so we're going to take Calvin and a couple of other people, and they're going to help us. And none of these people know anything about ecclesiastical law. And so that's where we saw the problem. And we have watched a good 16, 17 clergy across this country go to prison for not knowing. We've watched boards of trustees, joint boards, deacon boards be basically divided. That's why we call ourselves Church at Risk Piercing the Sacred Veil. We took it from the corporate world, you know? We're basically saying that when they pierce the veil of a corporation, they sue the shareholders individually. In church, they sue the board of trustees individually. We've seen people lose their children's college funds. We've seen all sorts of devastation. Churches in foreclosure like never before.
Wow.
Churches filing bankruptcy. Members lending to churches and then not getting the money back. Because with the church, you know what we do, Calvin? We shake a hand, and it's your word based upon Jesus sent you, and we're going to shake your hand, and this is the business deal. But there's nothing in writing.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's a huge problem, and I'm trying to change. What the Lord has called me to do is change the perception inside of the church.
Wow.
I think we can defend these cases, and I'm speaking as a lawyer and someone who's set in the position of a judge. So I'm trying to defend the church from the inside. So if we can clean ourselves up, if we can clean up houses of worship from the inside, that we will be more prepared for these attacks.
Amen. Amen. And for those that are listening to us right now, you see all the time, think how the church, nonprofit like the NFL, NBA, they got a ton of lawyers for reasons. Churches should always have bylaws. What you mean by bylaws is saying if you come work for the church and you do pro bono work, you better have that written down. Mm-hmm. She's talking about, for instance, if you're saying I'm giving to the church, that's where you come that, I'm giving that tithes and offering. Mm-hmm. That's something you give. Or like you say, well, hey, I'm donating to the church. The church is going to say, the church is supposed to do is have a written document saying, hey, sign this and saying, I'm giving this to the church. But that's saying I gave the church my couch and I didn't, and you did this handshake talking about, hey, take my couch. But then 10 years later, you want your couch back and you go and sue the church. Talking about the church took my couch, or you loan something. So she's talking about something that's really going on, and people that's why a lot of times when it comes to saying I want to start a church, or hey, I want to do certain things. Yeah, you better get some board of trustees together, people who keep you accountable. And a lawyer is one thing you always want to have like right next side of you, because I'm gonna tell you right now, when you get outside of the four walls, the world will come creeping in, and you better protect it. So that's something I recommend to all of those who are watching us right now. Yeah. So tell people, how can they get in contact with you?
They can get in contact with me from the website www.churchatrisk.com or www.thesacredveil.org. And Facebook, MD Rhett, or Facebook Church at Risk, hashtag Church at Risk Twitter. And also, if you're getting in touch with me just to talk about me coming to your church or speaking, you can go through info@churchatrisk.com or info@the Sacred Veil. And if you're asking me to do something else, to do motivational teaching or something like that, you can go to www.michellerettglobal.com.
Amen. Amen. Well, you just heard it from the best. We're going to bring her back here. You know, we had the Logan Power Show. We got our radio. We want to bring her on a constant basis. We want to have her here in the building so that we can have her come back in person again for our television broadcast, because we need to be able to be prepared here in 2017. Well, hey, that's all the time I got. Miss Cavalo, the Logan Power Show, nationwide, worldwide, with only Miss Michelle Rhett, lawyer. You need to have it right by your side. We appreciate y'all. We love you. We'll see you on next week.
Hi, this is Karen Jane Casey, author, domestic violence advocate, and podcaster. I invite you to go to my website, KarenJaneCasey.com, and AbundantLivingWKaren.usana.com. There you'll learn about my business, books, and podcasts, such as My Dear Rosa Jean, Turn to God, and Abundant Living. That's KarenJaneCasey.com. Thank you.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Miss Myra, inviting you to visit with us on the porch of the I Am Special Movement, a community neighborhood collaboration organization where we spread messenger wisdom to uplift all. Meet us each Sunday on the porch, 6 p.m. Eastern, for the To Uplift All podcast on Storm Talk 365 Radio Network, and 7 p.m. Eastern for our live interactive I Am Special To Uplift All teleconference, where porch talk is going on. Bye, y'all.
We are here to make an impact in the community. Our job is to be the voice. Be that voice for those that feel lost, hopeless. They need that hope, that joy to uplift themselves, the love that they're looking for. We're here to basically make people become more aware of what's going on in the community. We're here to make a difference. I'm telling you right now, come on to the show today. Access us at www.loganpowershow.us. Call stay at 843-697-5545 or email us at theloganpowershow@gmail.com. This is the actual network. This is the actual show that's going to change your lives. I promise you. You sow into this show, the Bible promise to turn on your giving. If you come on this show, your life is going to change. We're here, family, just for you. We will be your voice. You will get the victory, and to God be the glory. Hey, this is me, your host, Calvin Logan, the Logan Power Show, nationwide, worldwide. I appreciate you. Love you, family.